the way we built our program is if your business is at $1 million, we built the 10X 360. And what this is, it's like having that driver sit next to you. We're gonna go start running the circuit with you over 2 days, through finance, through operations, through people, through marketing. We're gonna let you score yourself in certain areas. We're gonna role play those things out. Then we're gonna compare that to the data to show where you're entirely missing the mark. Welcome to our breakfast to celebrate all you amazing business owners. And you know, when you're spending time with business owners and you meet tens of thousands of them every year all over the world, you start to find the commonalities between the people who want to win and the ones that are kind of what I call tinkering. And I just want to ask a question, who in this room is somebody that wants to win? Yeah, let's go. Okay, so we're all in the right room. And the other thing is, I know several people in this room, and the businesses range from $1 million up to $150 million. So it's a great room to be in, and the reason we do this is to show you that you isolated yourself from that big room and you brought yourself into this little room. And what I'm going to show you is you want to continue to do that and whittle away and get certain people out of your life. If you're a $10 million business, you have no business asking the opinion of a $1 million business owner what you should do with your business. You should be asking the $100 million business owner because they're where you want to go. If you're asking the wrong people the wrong questions, you're getting the wrong information. All right, when you go through the break points, you've got 100K to 3 million, 3 million to 8 million, 8 to 15, 15, 25, 25, 45, 45, 75, 75, 125. Now, people ask me, what's the next one? It's 125 to 250. See how the break points get bigger? Then it's 250 to 450. And we just keep doing that all the way up to about $4 billion. The thing that you have to understand is that this little stick figure here represents you, the owner. And when you're here, you have to grow personally, professionally, and financially in order for the business to grow. Because John Maxwell talks about law of the lid. You're the lid in the business. So you're the highest cap in the business. And when you think of those 10 elements from strategy, marketing, sales, people, finance, operations, leadership, data, technology, and investment thesis, what happens is every time you move from one of these levels to the next level, you go into a different personal, professional, and financial cycle. And the most dangerous place to be in business is the top end of any break point, because this is where you start to erode profitability, trying to bust through. It's where you start throwing extra people at it or buying other things to try to solve your problem, hiring a bunch of consultants to come in, and it creates more confusion. Because if you don't elevate your operating cycle, your leadership cycle, your belief cycle, you're still doing the same things you were doing here, but now you're up here. So to get here, you have to understand that by the time you go from here to here, you need 3 leaders. You need the visionary, you need the builder, and you need the manager. You need those 3 people built because you got too many employees. You've got to move the company into 3 pieces. And you have to be fully aligned. You can't just say, now you're going to take this, Aaron, you're going to take this piece of the company, and you're going to take that piece, and good luck. They have to understand, hey, we're here, we're going to here, and here's why I picked you to be where you're at. So what our program has been developed to do is curate what you need to know, when you need to know it, where you need to know it, and how you need to know it, and then how to deploy it. Because the execution's where the rubber's going to meet the road. It's almost like I use this driving analogy. If you ever watch like the road rally guys, and they're out there, 150 miles an hour, and they're going through these curves and they're going around these cliffs, there's always a person next to them in the other seat telling them, what's coming, because you cannot process. The faster you go, you cannot process data and react to it without any predictability. So they practice and practice and practice and learn all the different danger spots. Now, if a raccoon runs in the road or a deer runs in the road or the road gets wet, the conditions change. And if you're not trained for it, you crash. I used to do some racing, and the first thing they teach you is to make sure that you learn that, because if your eyes look at something, your hands follow it. You can't look at something and not go into it. This is why people hit shit. And the same is true in business. You're going super, super fast, and you're like, oh, there's a problem. You slam right into it. And then what happens is your confidence goes down. So the way we built our program is if your business is at $1 million, we built the 10X 360. And what this is, it's like having that driver sit next to you. We're gonna go start running the circuit with you over 2 days, through finance, through operations, through people, through marketing. We're gonna let you score yourself in certain areas. We're gonna role play those things out. Then we're gonna compare that to the data to show where you're entirely missing the mark. Because in business, there's the 2% you know for to be true. And that 2% down here is gonna be different than the 2% you need here. Because this is dynamically different. There's the 2% you know you don't know. I mean, if you're a great surgeon, you probably know that you're not the best person to be sitting in the back room doing accounting. Because it's not your highest use of time. But if you're by yourself and you have bills, and you haven't learned to bring in the people that know how to do the accounting, you find yourself working at 3 in the morning, plucking away, trying to enter stuff into the system. We come along and find your system's got QuickBooks being used to pay bills, and then no one's putting the data in QuickBooks. So you're running off of ledgers. It's like, what's happening here? The 360 finds what are all the things you're doing depending on what level you are. Now, if you're up here, it'll take you backwards and it brings you back up, but it sets the tone for the direction that you need to go in order to grow your business by 30 to 50% as fast as possible. We've run 2,500 businesses through there, and outside of one person from Canada that had her own problems, no one's ever asked us for a refund. So people score us in the first half of the first day, 7s, 8s, 9s, and 10s, and by the end of the day, they score us 10s. Why? Because when you find the 3 things out of the 100 variables that you can go home and generate 30 to 50% return on your money, your confidence goes up. Would you agree? So that starts at the 10X 360. Now, when you go through the 10X 360, there's gonna be weaknesses across those 10 spectrums. You're gonna realize that you don't have a good leadership team. You're gonna realize that you don't know how to find, attract, align, develop, deploy, and retain great people. That's not a competency, because those are 5 different steps. So if you ever have employee problems, it's because you think it's one step. I gotta find somebody and hire them and get them to do the job. You gotta know what you're looking for. You gotta be able to attract those people into your business. They got choices. Just remember this, all good people have choices. And then if you do have people working for you and they don't understand the bigger picture and where you're going, and they don't understand you're building a big business and where they fit into it because you don't build that roadmap, they leave. And then you lose your good people. This is a cycle businesses go through. So we have the people essentials. How to create the employee maturity model from an associate, senior associate, manager, senior manager, director, senior director, vice president, senior vice president, executive vice president, president, future partner. Your employees should be able to see that and understand what are the contributions, what are the competencies. So where do you build that? You build it at the 2-day people essentials. So what happens is we've curated our workshops, sales, marketing, leadership, people, finance. So we created all these workshops. And then we augment them with things like Mastermind.